Today I am going to have for you a what's for dinner. I have some really delicious meals to share with you this week that are easy. I also have some oops or uh-oh or mistakes, whatever you want to call it, that I made with these recipes, and I still want to share with you to show you how I corrected it or what we did to still have the meal. Ignore the dark spot on my nose. My son accidentally head-butted me in the nose, and I think it's gonna bruise. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel. I have other videos already that you can go watch of grocery hauls, and I have another what's for dinner that's already up, and I'm going to have more in the future. I have a lot of exciting videos planned for you, so please consider subscribing and sticking around, and let's get into the recipes. The first dinner we are doing tonight is a spaghetti bake that we are taking to a church family that just had twin girls. Very easy. You're going to want some pasta noodles. I have linguine here, 2 jars of pasta sauce, some grated Parmesan cheese, some shredded mozzarella cheese that I shredded myself and it's leftover, and then some pepperonis that you will be cutting up. So that's it. I'm going to first get started by boiling my water, and I do have some salt in here. The seasonings I'm going to be adding to this are some onion, garlic, parsley flakes, some black pepper, some oregano, some rosemary leaf, and then some thyme and some sage. If you had an Italian mix, that would work really well too. This is just what I have on hand, and it's just to add some flavor to the sauce. I am first going to start by cutting up the pepperoni. I'm going to be doing about half of the bag because I want to have some leftover for us to eat at our home for lunches this week for my husband. So I did about half of them, and I just cut them up into small pieces. The next step is to boil the pasta water. So I did that. I did leave just a touch of water in the bottom so that it wouldn't be too thick. And then I added in all of those seasonings that I told you about. I put them on the noodles before I add the sauce so that the flavor really can get coated on those noodles. There are some seasonings in the sauce, so I guess that's just why I do it that way. But then all you have to do is add in the sauce and the pepperoni, put it in a pan, top it with cheese, and then I wrote the directions on the lid for the container since this was going to another family and I wanted them to know how to warm it back up. This is what it looks like. It's delicious, and when my husband saw me editing this video, he said, I want that. For dinner tonight, we are going to make an Instant Pot chicken cordon bleu pasta. So I have this colored pasta that I got from Trader Joe's, a jar of Alfredo sauce, some chicken base to use instead of chicken broth, onion powder, parsley flakes, black pepper, garlic powder, and salt. I have some chicken here that I am going to chop up into small pieces, some Swiss cheese that I am going to shred, and some deli ham. And it seems like a pretty simple recipe, so let's get to it. First, I am just going to be cutting up the chicken. I decided to only use one chicken breast because there's also ham in this recipe, so I thought one chicken breast was more than enough, and I ended up using the other chicken breast later in the week when I made enchiladas. But I'm just cutting the chicken up into bite-sized pieces and placing it in my Instant Pot. To my Instant Pot, I am also adding some of that chicken base. You could just do chicken broth right here, but I use chicken base and then water. So I added in the water, and this recipe I will link down below for you. I just stirred that up a little bit, added in some garlic powder, onion powder, some black pepper, and a little bit of salt. You just can't see it. And then I added in my pasta. I added about a half a pound of pasta, but the pasta, I made sure that it was completely covered in water. Put the lid on, turned it to sealing, and set it. And then I moved on to shred my Swiss cheese. Is anybody else scared of the cheese grater? Sorry for the background noise, but is anybody else scared of the cheese grater? Because I'm terrified I'm going to accidentally get my finger. So I go really slow, and this is sped up. This is like 4 times as fast as I was actually working. I'm so scared, and I move the cheese around, and I'm just so scared. And then when it gets to the end, I give up, honestly, because I can't do it. And right about now, I was questioning, why is my Instant Pot not coming to pressure? I don't understand. That's okay. I have other things to do. So I took about half of the ham, and I'm just dicing it up into small pieces, thinking that the pasta should be about done. And that's when I realized it wasn't sealing. So I put everything, plan B, I thought my Instant Pot was broken. Plan B, I put everything on the stove and just finished cooking the noodles that way. And then I also forgot to get the end shot, but this was so delicious. So delicious. Tonight for dinner, we are going to have some chicken enchiladas. Very simple. I don't follow a recipe for mine. It's just what I've been doing, just how I've been making it for a couple of years now. So I have a chicken breast in here that I'm just going to cook up in some oil on the stove with some onion and some spices. You can do this however you want. I'm then going to, once it's cooked, cut it up into small pieces, add in these black beans, add in a little bit of cream cheese, a little bit of shredded cheese. If I had some diced green chilies, I would put that in there as well, but I don't have any right now. And then I will take a little bit of this enchilada sauce, put it in the filling. I put a little bit on the bottom of the pan, put the filling in the tortillas, roll them up, put them in the pan, and then put a little more of the enchilada sauce on top. So very easy dinner. And then you just bake it at 350 degrees for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, just to make sure everything's warm together, but the filling's already going to be warm. So I don't do it very long. This is a very quick dinner for us. So let's get to it. So like I said, I'm just going to fry up the chicken. I did have some onion in the pan, and it ended up getting too hot and it burnt, so I had to take that out. So I just fried the chicken on both sides, and then when it was about halfway cooked, I took it out of the pan and chopped it up into little pieces to get it cooked all the way through, and so the outside chicken wouldn't dry up while the inside was still trying to cook. And then I just added some taco seasonings to it. You could do a taco packet if you wanted. I just added some typical like taco type seasonings to it and let that simmer for a little bit and cook the rest of the way. And then I added in the black beans, which were still cold, a little frozen actually. And I just wanted to kind of heat those through so that the enchiladas didn't have to be in the oven quite as long. And then I added in a little bit of cream cheese, maybe 2 ounces of cream cheese. I added that in and melted it, and then that was my mixture. And it was time to put together the enchiladas. I just put some cheese on the bottom of the enchilada and scooped some filling in, and then I put some enchilada sauce on the bottom of my pan, rolled them up, put them in the pan. I didn't do the greatest job at rolling them, but as you've heard my son this whole time I've been doing the voiceover, this is how he gets when it's almost dinner time. And so that's what I was kind of dealing with, and I was just trying to hurry up and get these done. So it's okay, they tasted amazing. So that's all I do is I just roll them up, and then the rest of the can of the enchilada sauce I put on top. And I baked them for 15 minutes, just enough to warm them up, and they were really good. And my son just had the filling and some shredded cheese. Tonight for dinner, we are having sloppy joes, or maybe you call them taverns, loose meat sandwich, made right, depending on where you are in the country, in the world. Maybe you don't even know what I'm talking about, but that's what we're having tonight. It's really simple. So I just have a pound of ground beef here that I'm going to cook up with some spices. And then for the sauce, I normally use yellow mustard, but mine was pretty expired, so I didn't want to use it. So I'm going to use some of this Dijon mustard, some ketchup, some Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit of sriracha. And then we just eat them on some buns. And I also have this pretty big sweet potato here. I am going to make mashed sweet potatoes. So this is a really easy dinner to throw together in no time at all. So let's go ahead and get going on this. These are the spices I use to cook the ground beef. Just some salt and pepper, and then a little bit of granulated onion and a little bit of granulated garlic. So I just have that over here on the stove. Just might help if I turn my burner on, huh? Yeah, that's usually helpful. So just gonna cook it on medium heat until it is done. And then back there I have my sweet potatoes and some water getting ready to boil, and I will just boil those until they are fork tender. All right, this is what my beef is looking like right now, just cooked with those spices. I did drain just a little bit of grease off of it. It's pretty lean beef. It's actually from like a local farmer. My parents got half a beef, I think is just what it's called. So it's pretty lean. So I'm just gonna sprinkle in some brown sugar. I don't measure with a lot of things, but especially with this, I would say maybe that's, I don't know, a couple teaspoons. And then I'm going to add in the ketchup. The ketchup is the main part of the sauce. So let's see. I probably put a cup, maybe. It always looks like more on camera. And then I put in about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And then just a little squeeze of Dijon mustard, not too much. Even if you're just using the yellow mustard, I don't add too much of that. I'm gonna stir this around and get it to the right consistency for how we like it. If you like a saucier meat, then you add
more sauce, obviously. If you like more of a dry, not as saucy, I guess, you would just add less of everything. And then I add sriracha. I'm gonna take some, after this is the right consistency, I'm gonna take some out for my son before I add the sriracha, because it would be way too spicy for him with that in there. And then I just let it simmer until we're ready to eat. So tonight it'll simmer just until the sweet potatoes are done. So this is about the consistency that we like it for sauce wise. So let me get some out for my son. Okay, and then for sriracha, you don't have to add this if you don't like spicy. I love spicy. My husband is okay with spice. I don't add a ton of this though, so I don't know, maybe 1/4 teaspoon is all. It's really not that much. It's just a little extra something to make your sloppy joes a little more unique. And then once I mix this and I try it, because I like spicy, sometimes I will add some more sriracha just to my individual serving, but this will probably be good for now. So that's all you do. That will simmer now until the sweet potatoes are done, which are boiling. Once they are fork tender, I will take them out and drain off the water, add in some butter, some milk, a little bit of cream cheese, some salt and pepper, and a little bit of garlic. And I'll use my hand mixer to get them really creamy. And that will be our meal for tonight.
For my mashed potatoes, I added mashed sweet potatoes, I guess. I added some butter, some cream cheese, and some milk. And then for seasonings, I did just salt and pepper and a little bit of garlic. And then I used my hand mixer to get them to the consistency that we like. I like really creamy potatoes. And so this is my son's plate, and if you're wondering if he actually eats all the food that I cook, the answer is yes. And here he is chowing down. He loves to eat. He's not picky at all, and I absolutely love that. And then this is my plate. Tonight for dinner we are having pork chops and potatoes. So I just took 2 potatoes and I diced them up and put some butter, garlic salt, garlic powder, and pepper in this pan. I'm just gonna fry them up on the stove. And then I have this season mix for the pork chops. I have a little bit of salt, some garlic powder, pepper, and smoked paprika. And I'm just going to coat the pork chops in this, cover them in olive oil, and then coat them in this. And also fry them up on the stove top, and hopefully it will be just like a quick, easy dinner for tonight, and delicious as always. And then I might see if we have any corn or green beans to go with this as well. Okay, this is how it's going. I got a phone call as I started this, so I didn't show the whole thing, but all I did was rub the pork chops with my spice mixture. Put them in the pan. It's been a really long time. They're not cooking very fast because they're thick, so I cut them in half to hopefully speed up the process, because my husband is on his way home for dinner. He works here in town and gets an hour to come eat with us, so he is on his way. So trying to get them to hurry up and cook. And then back here we have our potatoes that are looking delicious. Just been frying these too, and then I put a lid on them. So after I get them golden, I put a lid on them, and I don't have a lid that's big enough for this pan. So I just do one of those, and it helps the potatoes actually cook all the way through. So that's where we are on dinner. I will show you what it looks like when we are all done. Oh, let's check the pantry, see if we have anything in here for, if you ever wondered what my pantry looks like, here it is. Let's see. We have some green beans, so we are gonna also have green beans with our dinner. Here's the final shot of our dinner tonight, and it was so good. That rub was delicious on the pork chops. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. I hope you got some good meal ideas that maybe you can share with your family. Again, if you like this video, please make sure to give it a like, subscribe, all of the things. I will see you in my next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye.